this is very, very relevant. Or like Kamala Harris, do you think you just came out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of everything that came before you. Like, how relevant is that?
Brilliant. Honestly.
She's right. That's the point of this.
It was like a deep quote and it's like edited out of context. Yeah. And so it's like, oh man.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? I don't know why she picked coconut tree.
Yeah.
Very specific, but
I think it would have landed if it was like an idiom that people knew versus everyone's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So then they're like, it's lost entirely, didn't land.
Didn't land. It's just coconut tree. And that's all my entire TikTok feed is right now. It's just,
oh my gosh,
brat Kamala Harris.
Hello, my name is Tanya, and this is the Fangirl Feels podcast. We're two friends who dish about all the books, TV shows, and movies that we're obsessed with. And I'm here today with my co-host,
Olivia. My name is Olivia. Hello, everyone. Long time no speak, I guess. See. Yeah, I mean, I saw you for the first time yesterday in like a month. We've just been out and about.
It's been a while. Yeah, we both went on long trips over the course of the past 2 months. And so this feels weird. And then we randomly met to talk about Bridgerton, obviously.
Yeah.
We were like, alert, like red alert. We got to talk about this. Published that episode. And now we're going on vacation again.
Yeah. I just came back from one and then I'm about to leave again for another one for a week. And then the summer trips are done after that for me. Do you have any other trips planned after that or no?
No, I did have one, but it didn't work out. So no, I'm just chilling.
Yeah. I'm excited I'm excited. Like a lot of my friends here are also gone. So like me coming back for this, like these 2 weeks, I was like, no one's even here. Like, cause everyone's traveling. Like everyone's busy.
So it's deserted. Everyone's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's busy doing stuff. So you're just like, okay, I am excited for like, I love back to school season. This is like my old like high school self. I always loved the first day of school. I thought it was fun. So I'm like excited for like, I'm just like excited for fall. I think that's really what I'm saying. I'm excited for the calmness of fall to come back.
I feel you. There's a sense of excitement around this time. I just came back from a walk and we were like, ooh, it feels like cooler. That cool fall air during the evening, we can get a sense of it because during the day it's like 85 degrees. Yeah. But the nights are giving us those feels. We still have the AC on, but yeah, I can't wait for that time.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for like things to go back to normal kind of fall season. Just bring me spooky stuff. I'm also working on like a fall drop for my shop right now. So I'm just like all in on fall. Like give me fall.
And where can people go to see that when it's published?
Oh, it's at my Etsy store, vvivaa.etsy.com. Or you could just go to artbyviva.com. It will redirect you to that. Yes. Very nice. Thanks for the shameless plug.
Gotta catch them while it's early in the video. We do like our plugs towards the end and everyone's like,
no one's listening. We have like 2 listeners at that point. It's funny. Well, since it's been a little bit, let's talk about what we've been into. What have we been like consuming these last few weeks? Anything of note?
Yes. I feel like so we have stretched out Legendborn because we went on different vacations and trips. But then I also had other books that I listened to kind of meet my spooky needs otherwise. So if you're new here, I am our resident spooks host. Yeah. I love the spooks, the murder mysteries. I actually, in the past, I've said I like true crime. I don't love true crime. I actually just like fictional murder mysteries. And if they have demons, that's even better.
So specific. Meanwhile, I'm like sign of the cross, like away from me, Satan.
We talked about this before, but the best way we've like figured out how to explain our different interests in like spooky time is that like I like scary magic, and then like Olivia likes fun magic, like
I like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I like the Harry Potter's fun spoopy magic.
Spoopy versus spooky. We need to be stickers.
Yes, spooky. Are you spoopy or are you spooky? I think like that's very millennial to say spoopy.
That is so millennial.
I am
that's millennial. So fetch.
So
Um,
stop trying to make fetch happen.
So book-wise, I've been reading / listening to The Hike by Lucy Clark. 4 women go on a hike in Norway, and they are from Britain, so it's a lot of like new cultural things they're learning. And I just love the way that women write horror books, because I was just listening to another book called The Ritual that I put on pause to listen to this, because men write books very differently. And like, if you keep listening to our podcast, we tend to read books that are written by women because they get into like the character development. Like, these women are talking about like their divorces, having kids and stuff. And like, men are like, the other book was like, and yeah, so now we're on a bachelor party and we're going to go into those woods that look scary because it's the fastest way through. And I'm like, what?
That's silly. Yeah. It is interesting to see the difference, men and women, how they write. I'm sure someone has written a dissertation on that or something.
We should have them on this podcast.
Yeah, we should. I'd be curious.
Then watching, obviously House of the Dragon, which I think you've been watching as well. Have you caught up?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I'm on the latest episode. We're recording this July 24th. So I haven't finished the newest one, the one that came out on Sunday. But yeah, I am watching it.
Okay. And then also watching The Boys. And I feel like I'm missing some. I'll update you all next week because I can't remember. But there was like a good chunk of time where there was like, we had shows to watch in the evening. And then now we've finished. Other than House of the Dragon, that's going to keep coming out. But The Boys just finished. So yeah, that's what I've been to. What about you?
The Boys, I started that first episode way back when, like years ago. And it was just like too much for me that I couldn't finish it. I didn't finish the first episode, or I did watch it and I just didn't continue. But I'm on like The Boys' radar. Like it comes up on my feed enough because I should like it, but I just haven't. I just haven't got like I just haven't really gotten into it. But
I understand. It's the storyline's interesting, but it's like so gruesome, more than Game of Thrones.
yeah,
So I get it.
yeah, it's like not for me. Like I'm bought in on the Marvel cinematic universe, right? So then you have this, which is like the antithesis, and I'm like, oh no, don't do this to me. I love my Iron Man, my Captain America. Stop.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I heard it's good.
good actors.
Yeah. I watched a show called My Lady Jane. It is on Amazon Prime. And it's like a historical fiction fantasy. I would describe it as, did you ever watch the movie Ella Enchanted?
Yes, and I read the book too.
Yeah, with Anne Hathaway. So you know how that movie was like very quirky? Like just a very quirky, silly movie? That's what this show was in the context of like a King Henry, or it was like King Henry's son, like England timeline. It's actually based off a true story of a girl, Lady Jane Grey is her name. She's like a real woman who becomes queen for a brief time. So it's like a short, like Amazon Prime series. I think it's like 10 episodes. Has that same like Ella Enchanted vibe, and I liked it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Like I hope it gets picked up for season 2 because I was like, this is silly. I was like watching Ella Enchanted. It was fun.
Oh, I want to check that out. That sounds like a cottagecore, wholesome, cute.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly it. It was like silly. It had its like it was had its silly, stupid humor moments, but it was cute. The romance was cute. Like it's fun. So would recommend if you're looking for something of that vibe.
What about reading? Because I know you kind of took a break.
I did. Besides Legendborn, I've been trying to read. So I got the ARC, the advanced reader copy of a book called Air, which is a sequel series to the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir, which is one of my favorite fantasy series that I don't talk enough about, and I think is underhyped, but I really like that series. I like the first 2 books more than the second 2. It's a quartet. It's 4 books. But I got the ARC of the next book in the sequel, and so I've been starting that. I haven't gone very far. But that is the book I'm committing to now that we're done with Legendborn. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Very exciting.
Ooh, okay, yes. Please post about it. Keep us updated.
Air is good. Oh, and I also watched, this is another movie I watched, which is old, is A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the Hunger Games movie. I finally watched that a year and a half later, and I really enjoyed it. They just know what they're doing with those Hunger Games films.
They really do.
Yeah.
Like, they crushed it. Like, I never read the books, and honestly, I don't feel like I need to. I'm like, the movies are crushing it, but I haven't seen that one yet. So you liked it?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's about President Snow. It's like kind of his backstory. And man, like he's not a good person, but man, they make you cheer for him until the end, right? But the point isn't to make him sympathetic. The point is kind of just to show like what he is. But I am just always going to be sympathetic to an attractive man. I'm just
Aren't we
always
all?
going to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know I shouldn't feel sympathetic because he makes some really bad choices, especially near the end. And at that point, you're like, oh, this guy's lost. But yeah, you're sympathetic towards him in the beginning for sure.
I saw you post something about that. Okay, now it's all making sense.
Yeah. You're like, dang, I can fix him. He becomes like a tyrant president. But I agree. I don't feel like you need to read the books. I've heard someone responded to that story of mine. It was like, you need to read the book. I'm like, do I? Because the movie was good. I don't know.
What if it ruins it? Yeah.
Yeah, the movie was good. And I think the Hunger Games movies were better than the books. I still stand by that.
There you go.
Hot take. I actually did say that, and people were like, "You're wrong." I'm like, granted I haven't read them since 2011, but I still stand by it. But that's that. That's all I've been into. That's what I recommend, though. My recommendations.
Nice. So before we get into our discussion about Legendborn, I did want to ask, would you live in the mythical world of Legendborn?
It's a good question. No. I don't know. Nothing was that different about it to me. Like it then just like it's the real world, but with then I think I'm just not, and this I think can be like how we get into the main discussion. I think I just was not totally invested or in love with the magic system or the world. Like I don't care about the Arthur legend that much. So I'm like, I don't want to be I don't care about this very much. And I don't mean to be like negative, but it's just like, no. There are other fantasy worlds I would prefer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's intriguing, but the way I guess the Arthur's legend was rooted in like evil. And so like that
Yeah.
made it not appealing. We would want to be root crafters, ideally,
Yeah.
but also I agree that so I was thinking like what does this remind me of? Obviously Avatar: The Last Airbender, where you're like manipulating like the elements out there, but like at least in that world there were more benders, except in this one it's like you're a lineage of benders. Like whereas in Avatar: The Last Airbender you can be born to a family of non-benders. And so I would want to be an Avatar: The Last Airbender instead of this, like if I'm trying to compare my my thought process with that decision.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it seems like there's like hierarchy here, and a lot of like evil rooted in it
Yeah.
too, and so I wouldn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah. No, I like in a world like Avatar: The Last Airbender, the magic is more accessible. Like anyone can have it. I mean, not anyone, but it is like anyone can have it, if you understand what I'm saying. This it's like, yeah, it's more of a hierarchy. It's more of a lineage. It's very few people. And yeah, I'm Egyptian, you're Indian. We're not one of those people. Like
We're not
I
even
mean,
in this story. Yeah.
we're not even here. We're not in the story. Granted, and like you make up a fantasy world, like I could be whoever I wanted to be, but yeah, I'm just like, and then it's not an interesting lineage that I would care to be a part of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which is the kind of the point of the book, because Bree is like, I didn't ask for this, and this was even like forced upon my ancestor in a horrible way.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, yeah, I understand that. Like, I wouldn't want if I were her, I'd be pissed. Like, this sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like revealing a lot of pain that she
Yeah.
now has to continue grieving, like her ancestors' grief.
Yeah.
And
Like
so
she's dealing with the consequences of horrible things that happened to her family. Yeah.
yeah.
Generational trauma. I mean, that's kind of the whole point is generational trauma to its biggest extent.
That's like the overarching theme of the entire book.
Yeah, it is 1000%.
To be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
For also like Nick, like his line as well. So
Yeah. Which I appreciate that. Like how I think sometimes I have this discussion with like even my parents about how like we can still be dealing with the consequences of things that happened to them, to their parents, centuries ago even. Like, I think that's a real thing that sometimes people don't realize. So
Yeah.
very good. It's a good conversation.
And I've never read this book, and I think I've mentioned it before, but like the body keeps the score. Like the trauma, from what I've read, stays within your body, and it could affect like different like medical illnesses that can continue within your family. Yeah, it definitely like affects future generations.
1000%. Yeah. It's just sad. And it's like, I didn't ask for this, but here we
Yeah.
are. I didn't ask for this.
But I agree.
Well,
Same boomer immigrant parents that are like, nope, just be happy.
What is this? This is very, very relevant. Or like Kamala Harris, do you think you just came out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of everything that came before you. Like, how relevant is that?
Brilliant. Honestly.
She's right. That's the point of this.
It was like a deep quote, and it's like edited out of context. Yeah. And so it's like, oh man.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? I don't know why she picked coconut tree.
Yeah.
Very specific, but
I think it would have landed if it was like an idiom that people knew versus everyone's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So then they're like, it's lost entirely, didn't land.
Didn't land. It's just coconut tree. And that's all my entire TikTok feed is right now. It's just,
oh my gosh,
brat Kamala Harris.
I feel like that was a good segue into discussing our overall thoughts of the book. So I'm curious, how would you rate it out of a scale of 1 to 5?
My official Goodreads rating was a 4, or not 4, 3. Sorry, a 3. I gave it a 3. I think I would say I'm between a 2.5 and a 3. I thought it was okay. I liked it. It just wasn't I think I had higher expectations for it than it provided, and I wasn't invested in like any particular plot point or character enough to like really, I think, get emotionally attached. And I mean, the only thing I care about is like Bree, which is, I mean, she's the main character, but I don't know, it just wasn't enough for me to like love the story. And to the earlier point I made, I don't think I love the Arthurian legend, and there was just too much history or too much like word knowledge dump, info dump for me to like understand it all. So even by the end where I was like, oh, what is this? And like who died? I just wasn't entirely sure. So I'd like a solid 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, I'm impressed you already put it in Goodreads since you finished it this morning.
Oh, I just love doing the like, I finished. I love that. I love pressing that button.
You're
Instant
closer
dopamine.
to your goal. Hey.
I'm still one book behind, but I'll get there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I would also give it probably, a 3. We enjoyed it. We just think certain parts of it could be either shortened or explained better. I think that I agree that they focused a lot. There was a lot of info dumps in terms of like the Arthurian legend, and then also Bree's history. And I just felt I got lost in it. It was a lot to remember. And I wish that there was more character development. There was also a lot of characters that I didn't care about. I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember some of their names. And I wish they really focused on like Bree's relationship with the two boys. The two boys, the hottie pataties. I wanted more of that, and we didn't get enough. We didn't get enough of Cell, that relationship that we can see blossoming in front of us. I mean, we got like little bits of it with her dancing with him, but I wanted more of that. It was still good. I still liked it, but yeah, a 3.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like at the end when characters were dying, I was like, I don't know who this character, I don't remember. And that may be due to the fact that we read this over a long period of time. Like that might be on me. But I also was just like, there's just so many characters and so much. Yeah, I agree. We spent so much time in this, like in the info dumps or in the history, that when it came down to those like high stakes moments, I was like, I don't know which one you are. I don't know who you are.
I wasn't sad. And yeah, again, that's a good point. Yeah, we did take a while to read it.
Yeah, and I think to me, the issue, like I'm the type of reader who I will finish a book in 0.25 seconds if I liked it, if I loved it. Like I will devour it. Like I'll be doing, it's the only thing I'll do that day. And then if I don't love a book, this is what happens. Like it'll take me a long time. Granted, we were traveling and stuff, but I also like wasn't I wasn't excited to pick it up every time. So, yeah.
So throughout our different episodes, Olivia and I talked about things that we thought would happen. So there were a couple that we got right, a couple that were surprises, but I feel like both of us thought it was they kind of foreshadowed that Bree was a descendant of Arthur, or at the very least a very important person.
Yeah, I think we guessed that from like the first episode, which I got spoiled from. Like we talked about, like, we had this thing that we were like referencing and it spoiled us on certain things, but this one we guessed, I'm pretty sure, at episode 1 before we got spoiled. So yeah, I think that was pretty much hinted at from the beginning. And I wasn't surprised. But and this kind of goes back to, like, I don't love the whole like getting possessed by Arthur. I don't know, I find that kind of weird. I don't love it. I just don't like the concept.
Yeah, there's like a sense, there's the Avatar Last Airbender where like it was okay. And I think it's because it was like hidden. He was hidden. The past avatars are hidden unless like you're in danger or you need to talk to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I guess now also in Bree, she has two voices, her grandma and
Yeah.
Arthur. And maybe it'd be nice if there was a door that she could
Walk him out.
a closet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like because that's a good point. Like I don't mind the like avatar state concept at all. I find that really interesting. But it doesn't feel the same. And I'm not sure why it doesn't when functionally it's the same. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't think I like how it's done here. Maybe because I also don't like Arthur. Or I guess there's nothing wrong with him, but or maybe that is part of it. Maybe I just like don't like Arthur. I just don't know him and I don't care about him.
Yeah, that might be it. It wasn't like
I don't know.
it might be it. Yeah, we're so like removed from like I guess like British folklore.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe that is where it's like in Avatar you learn to like Roku and the past avatars. Like you get to know them. But this is also different because it's not like you know every single scion of Arthur. It's just Arthur.
Yeah.
It's just him, whoever he is.
You know what's funny? I actually think it would be super interesting if she had included flashbacks to Arthur's time so that we could get
I agree. I agree.
Because like the episodes about Roku were some of the best episodes where we got to let you that's episode still makes me sad where Roku dies. You're like, oh, that could have been solved. Yeah, and I wish there was something like that in this book.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. We should email her and tell her that. No, don't do that. I think like we're not here to like I think this book was good. Like I think people enjoy this book. We're not meaning to like tear it apart or anything. But yeah, I think it just was missing a emotional attachment. I agree. I think it was just missing something like that. So I think like knowing who Arthur was and like the whole Lancelot twist, which was like the next thing, that Nick was not the descendant of Arthur, but is like the scion of Lancelot, which is like Arthur's first knight. And they were like best friends. But like I kind of knew that, but like I don't know it, and I just I think that just proves the point. Like it would have been really interesting to like know, like to get to see that past before, and then see how it affects the current situation, which she kind of did with the flashbacks with like Bree, but I don't know, just didn't land the same.
I agree. I think it would have been nice. That was a new thing for me. I didn't expect that Nick wasn't a descendant of Arthur. I thought that they just both were, but him being a descendant or scion of Lancelot. But yeah, I think we would have like it would have been more of a shock and like maybe like a good surprise if we knew like they were besties earlier on and we like saw them together in battle and stuff.
It would be cool because then you're like, oh, and even Bree says at the end of this book, like, oh, maybe that's why I felt like attached to him, because it's just like our bloodlines, we're friends. And I'm like, that is a really cool concept. And like, it's interesting. I didn't even think about Avatar: The Last Airbender when reading this book at all. But now that you mentioned it, I do see the parallels. Like, and how past life. Like they even say in Avatar, like, oh, do you think friendships can last lifetimes? And like, I love that idea. I think it's so sweet.
Even you just saying that, yeah, that like pulled on my heartstrings, and I can like
Yeah.
envision him like Aang saying that. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's such a beautiful concept. And I mean, Avatar is just amazing. So I think we're just missing those little pieces here, I think. But
I think
so
so. This might have honestly, and now I'm thinking about it, this might be a good TV show, and maybe it just didn't like convey the feelings that she wanted us to feel within the book format.
maybe that's totally true. I do think sometimes like the story is good, but the medium isn't always the best. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally true. Yeah.
Evan was a demon. That was a surprise to me. I didn't expect it to be demon. Oh, I didn't expect it to be Evan. I expected it to be William.
Oh yeah, you did say that. You were like, I don't trust him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of Evan at all. Like I didn't give two thoughts about him again to like previous critique. So when that happened, I was like, oh. And then this goes to the next like thing. Like there was so much death in the last like chapters that and like when Evan was involved in a few of them. I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, everyone's dying. I don't know, like everyone's dying.
Everyone that we didn't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's dying. I was just shocked at the amount of death. I was like, that's for a YA book. It's a lot
Yeah.
of characters that just got like knocked off the board.
For the first book, when we weren't like, we're still not fully invested. You know, it's the first book, so that was surprising, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, and like they were very graphic deaths too. Like they got impaled, thrown against stone walls from like 20 feet. I was like, oh my God, like clutching my pearls. Like, oh my God. Yeah, they were I didn't expect at all from a YA book, but YA doesn't mean not graphic, I guess. I don't know.
It's true.
Yeah.
We already talked about the past lives. We hope she dives into that in the future books, I guess. And then yeah, Bree's mom and Sel's mom were friends. That's a surprise.
Yeah, which is cute. I liked that. And like then they're friends. Again, I love that concept. I love that concept.
Yeah. And we just want her to get with Sel so bad. We just so
Yeah.
badly needed to happen.
I agree. That's also like what you were saying. And I'm like, I hate to be that person, but they did need the romance needed to turn up a little bit, like just a little bit. I don't again, I love a subplot, but we just need a little more of like Sel and Bree. Maybe the next books will give us that. But
I hope so. Right. Let's turn it up a little, turn the dial up a little bit.
little bit.
We already talked about a couple things we wish were in the book. Was there anything else that's missing that you wish was in the book?
No, I don't think anything more than what previously said. A little more romance, a little bit more like a backstory. Give us some more emotion. Yeah.
More emotion. Yeah. I need to be invested, and I don't feel invested in a lot of the characters.
Yeah. And I mean, writing a book is an art, but that's definitely like an art. Like to be able to get you to like, I don't know, because I don't know how you do it. How do you get somebody to feel emotionally invested in a story or a background? I don't know. I don't know how you do it.
That's tough. Yeah.
That's why authors are amazing.
It's true. Before we dive into the questions, we didn't talk about this, but this was supposed to be a live discussion, and no one joined, and that's okay. It's the summer. We get it. That's totally fine. But we're hoping to keep doing this because we did have people interested. But yeah, we hope to keep doing these, and we hope you would want to be a part of these conversations.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, it's all good. We were going to talk about the book anyway. So, but next time, next live show that we do want to do, whatever it may be, that would be fun. Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
So, what are our thoughts on Bree, and did our feelings change throughout the book? If I remember correctly, throughout our previous episodes, we really like Bree. I think Bree's really well written, her grief. And I think because she embodies the author a lot, Tracy Deonn, and the things that Tracy went through with the passing of her mother. And so I thought they did a good job she did a good job of representing Bree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think she's the best character. I think I like her, and then I like Selwyn. Those are the two characters I care about the most. And yeah, no, I liked her. I don't think there's anything I would change or any feelings that changed. I thought she was well written. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan. All right. Are you Team Nick or Team Selwyn? And did you swap teams at any point while reading?
No. I think both of us were like the moment Cell walked into the picture, we're just like, so he's the guy, right? Nick was just there.
It's never the blonde hair with blue eyes guy.
It's never back to the conversation about a ballad of songbirds and snakes. Blonde hair, blue eyed men, you walk away as far away as possible from those men. Never good.
That's so funny that like that is like a consistent theme throughout so many different books.
It is. There's only one series in which the blonde hair, blue eyed man was the main character that I can think of. It's only like Nikolai Lansoff from the Shadow and Bone series. That's it. Like he's the only
Right.
man. That's not
That's
true.
it.
There's some other ones, but
There's probably other one.
there are probably other ones. But it's true. There is something too. There is something in the like YA romance genre that like blonde haired men like Tamlin out. They're all out. We don't
Get him
trust.
out.
Yeah, we don't trust them.
So next question, whose line within the order would you most want to be a part of? I don't remember enough of the different lines.
Or care about any of the lines. Like
Yeah.
the easiest answer would be Arthur.
Yeah.
Like I want to be the main dude.
I want to be the Avatar.
Yeah, exactly. Don't we all want to be the Avatar? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I actually don't know. Do we want to be the Avatar?
That's true. That's a lot of pressure. I want to be, remember there's that Avatar who just surfs?
Yeah.
He just surfs.
Kurg. Avatar Kurg. Yeah, he was just like chilling. But then the world descended into chaos after him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
That's so funny. In the book, Tracy Deonn also delves into the myriad of problems faced by Black people and especially Black women. Do you feel like these modern themes mesh well with the fantasy plot?
I think this is where she was the most successful. Like to feel this, and this is one of the few books where when it is like a contemporary fantasy, yeah, the fantasy does feel the most realistic in the real world, especially when it comes to like how Black people would be involved in a story like this, and like Bree being the product of, her being the scion of Arthur because of slavery and because of like the atrocities that occurred during slavery. Like, yeah, that feels very realistic, very unfortunately realistic. So, yeah.
I think she meshed it in perfectly. She
Yeah.
did a really good job. And yeah, bravo to her, because other books don't do that, and they don't have as like deep of meaning with like their central plots, I guess. Like
Yeah.
her whole magic system is rooted on like the real histories of these groups of people, Black people, Black women especially. So yeah, she did a good job. And she did a good job of like she talked about Bree's hair and like Bree's everyday experiences of being a Black woman within this like very white society.
Yeah, that's a good point. The hair points were really relatable as a fellow curly girl. I don't have that like same texture, but like totally relatable that like doing your hair is a whole process and like a very big part of your day, or you're like it takes up a lot of headspace doing your hair. So to
Yeah.
have those moments was like, yeah, I relate to this because same.
Yeah, it's those little things that it's like another author could have like totally taken that out. Like
Yeah.
makes us feel closer to Bree.
It's true. Yeah. Like I do remember distinctly the moments where she's like, I don't have the energy to wash my hair because it's like a 2-hour dry time. And I'm like, I understand that. Like if I'd go to shower before bed, right before bed, my hair is going to be crazy the next morning. So like you can't, I think these are real things. Like when you have curly hair like that, you don't have the luxury of just like getting in the shower and then like going to sleep right away, or yeah, you don't have those
Yeah.
luxuries.
So last question. Do you think you'll read the second book of Legendborn?
I think if I'm in a reading slump, like if I have nothing else teed up that I'm more interested in, I will pick it up. I'm happy I read this because it's been on my list for a while, even if it wasn't the 5-star read I was hoping for it to be. I'm still happy I read it. And I know that the third book comes out like early next year. So maybe maybe I'll see like what the reactions are to that last book too, and like maybe the second book's better. Sometimes the first books are not as good as the second one, So I'm not leaving. I'm not saying no. I'm saying maybe. What about you?
I feel the same way. It's funny because like in other series that I've read, I immediately want to go to book 2, but we have other books on our backlog, both of us, that we want to get to first. So maybe down the line I will. And good point that like the other books coming out, maybe I'll just see how that is perceived by the public and then decide.
I think it takes a lot for me to have a 5-star read. And I actually just did a TikTok about this, about like how I sometimes it's like it's not even about the book. Sometimes it's just about me. I'm not in the right headspace. And I do think maybe there was a part of that here. So, but I yeah, I think this was a good book. I understand why it was very popular. I like am pro this book, even if it wasn't the right match for
Yeah.
me in this time.
It's like, what are you craving? And I feel
Yes.
like that's how that dictates what we read next a lot of times. I think for a lot of people, like, I don't know many people who are just like, someone recommends you a book and you just read it because they told you to yesterday. Like, I need to be in the space to do it.
Yeah. I 1000% agree. Yeah, it's like every time we talk about recommendations, I'm like, I want these will be in my backlog when I'm emotionally ready and the stars have aligned and Mercury is in retrograde, and then I'll pick this up. Like that's how it is. And I don't know what book I'm craving right now, but we'll find it. We'll see.
Yeah.
But this was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we read it. It's off my list, and I'm glad it's been on my list for 3 years, honestly.
Yeah.
A
So
long
many
time.
people recommended this book, and for good reason. It's a good book, and I get why. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely check this out. I think 3 is a good, like, on Goodreads, books that are 3 stars, like, are I read. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a bad book. So yeah.
A 3-star for me is like how I do it is like 1 star is I did not like it. 2 stars is it was okay. 3 stars was I liked it. 4 stars was I really liked it, and 5 stars was it was amazing. That's my mental way
Yeah.
of doing it. So 3 stars is I liked it. Yeah.
I'm really similar in that way too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I don't even rate ones that I DNF, and maybe I should. I don't know if people do
Unless I
that, but
really hated it. Sometimes if I hated a book that I DNF'd, I'll rate it and give it like a 1 star
yeah.
and write like an angry review. But
How dare? Yeah.
yeah, those are few and far between. I also like at the end of the day, I don't want to hurt authors' feelings, and authors do amazing work. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot for me to do that. I have to really hate it.
We will continue doing these. We're gonna keep doing these read-alongs. These are fun, asynchronous, and we got to dive deep because Olivia and I do this thing where we'll do a video about a book we haven't read since 2017, and so it's hard for us to talk about. So at least this one, it was like top of mind, which
Yeah.
I'm specifically referencing Akatar. Like, that was hard for us to go through because we just don't remember details.
No. I think what we'll have to do is we talked about this like yesterday when we were planning for this, about how it's like so the third book in the Fourth Wing series is coming out in January, I believe. And even that was kind of hard for us to talk about for like 2 reasons. One, we don't remember it because that book was so large. Like, even though we had read it like 2 days before we finished it, we didn't really remember it. And we also like, I think we read these books with like one eye closed, right? We're not taking these books very seriously.
Not
So
at
I think,
all.
yeah, we're not. This book was serious. Like, this book was a book to take serious, but books like that we're not taking too seriously. And Akatar the same. Like, we didn't take those books too seriously. We understand what they are. So I think we'd like find a way to talk about those books knowing that we're reading them with one eye closed.
Yeah,
That's okay.
we'll be
It was like,
strategic.
yeah, stupid books for smart people is how I described it. Stupid
There
books
needs
for
to be like a jingle.
yeah, stupid books for
Books
smart
for
people.
people.
Sorry for anyone. Everyone's allowed to like what they like. We like them too. We just
Yeah.
stupid books for smart people. All right. Thank you guys for listening for this episode of the Fangirl Feels podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back in your feeds again. We're going to work on our next schedule of shows, of episodes. So look out in the Instagram feed for that. And you can follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts, really. I believe we're there. We're in your feed every Friday, but like we said, summer has been a weird schedule. So stay tuned for our schedule that will be coming. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what else. Do we have anything to add?
That's it. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll be back in your feed soon. Thanks for sticking around while summer's been weird. But fall will be more consistent again, for sure. But yeah, until then, bye. That was good. That was like perfect.
Wow, we've never done that.
No, that was like a perfect on exactly at the same time.